Do you ever remember the boring assignments back in school? Well, in this project, we make creative, engaging alternatives.
Today's assignment, create a fictional religion and present it. It should explain how the humans came to know about it, any rules, commandments, or tenets, any current practices, traditions, or rituals, how to worship, contradictions, or unanswered questions, and submit one paragraph summary of your religion along with a presentation. All right, let's see it.
No, the bonus. Do you understand what that is, Brian?
Yeah, get a paragraph summary of your religion. I'm going to give all three of them to my ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT is going to pick which one. Yes, I remember that. And whoever wins that gets the 5 bonus points.
Yes, I don't think I'm going to win.
Cool. So,
I'm not going to get it.
Austin and Max, go ahead and tell me your guesses.
Yes, my guess, Dylan, is that you are going to tell us about the religion of the god of storytelling.
Okay, Max, what was yours?
I said you're going to have a wizardry religion.
Okay, Austin almost completely has it.
Oh.
Have you heard the good word? It's okay if you haven't. We welcome those of all walks of life. It is never too late to embrace your story. We at the Church of the Good Word recognize that not all stories are good stories, but they are still stories. So you'll find that we often abbreviate this to simply the word. What is the word? Is it bird? Yes, it is. Is it a Microsoft program? Yes, it is that too. Everything that is, was, and will be is a word on the divine page. Every event, every life, every outcome. These words come together to form the divine story that is our reality. This is the central belief of our religion. Storyism.
Dang, you really nailed it.
Max,
I really like
I
this.
nailed it.
Yeah, Austin nailed it.
Stock image.
He didn't even tell me anything. I knew this was coming.
Yeah, the stock image. Where did we learn all of this from? You might be asking yourself. God told us. So here's the real audio recording of when that happened. Yeah, it's me. I'm God. Yeah, sorry I haven't said anything in a while. Yeah, I was working on another project for, what's it been, like 2,000 years now? Yeah, so I guess I'll sort of tell you the whole deal. So, your character's in a story. Yep, surprise. I'm sort of the author. Yeah, I guess any questions?
Yeah, I imagine we're going to have questions later. Also, that was...
Yeah, God is freakishly quiet.
We cut off the recording there, but it continues for several days straight. We asked a bunch of questions, and we recorded all of his answers in the Good Book. Not to be confused with the Christian Bible. We did copyright this name. You might be wondering to yourself, Dylan, are you really telling me that I'm just a character in a story? Yes, I am telling you that. It is okay. Nothing has changed. You have always been a character in a story. You're just aware of it now. And with that comes a lot of freedom. And there's a lot of very useful guidance we can take from that. From the moment you took your first breath, you were a background character in the lives of your parents, your older siblings, and anyone else who was around you when you were very young. Your actions were predetermined by the dominoes set up by your character design and the circumstances you were thrown into. You were very reactionary, and your narrative purpose was to serve as a force, an influence on the lives of those people. You were a conflict to be resolved, a wrench in their plans, or perhaps, to be a little bit more optimistic, you were the fruit of their labors, a reward for a job well done, a narrative payoff, if you will. But around the age of 4, something interesting happened. Some of you might actually remember this. I personally don't, but I've seen a lot of memes about it. People talk about sort of suddenly gaining consciousness or having their first thought or becoming self-aware. Happens at different ages for different people, but that experience happens, just, the act of experiencing itself happens because you have officially become the main character of your own story. Your story has begun. Everything leading up to that point was just your backstory. But now that you are the main character, you get to experience. You get to see your story unfold before your very eyes. Now, being a main character is a good thing. You get to experience a narrative. Your life is your story. You get to set goals, make choices, have challenges to overcome, and your actions will guide the trajectory of your plot. You get to choose what your story is going to be about. You get to have character arcs where you grow and change. Most of all, you get to influence the divine narrative. Everybody else around you is living their own story, and though you are a background character to them, you have the power to act as a narrative pressure, and you get to choose how. You can be an antagonist or take on a supporting role, whatever you want. But if all choices are valid, how do you decide what to do? So this sort of brings us to the next discussion, and this transition is taking way longer than I thought it did. What makes a good story? So first and foremost, eccentric and genuine people are my favorite. Uniqueness, but each person's life story has a different theme. He suggests to go find unique combinations of people to be friends with. Get more characters in your story. Try not to be boring. And we asked him just general life advice for how to lead a life, not just like about traits of a person to seek to be, but how should you strive to live? And he says to try to have fun. Play, love each other freely, rest, and fight if you feel the need to. Whenever you feel your purpose is, chase it to a fault. Be a character of yourself. Be genuine and honest above all else, unless it's more fun to lie. Live, explore, experience, and above all else, make a good story. But sometimes, despite our best efforts, things don't work out. So we asked him about that. Sometimes a story's bad. Why does suffering happen? And here's what he said about that. He says it has a narrative purpose. It's because it makes stories interesting. Without a challenge, a narrative is not compelling. It's not a good story. It's boring. So bad things happen for a reason, a plot reason. Without obstacles, the story would not make a lot of sense. It would be a very boring story. And what about death? You might be asking. So we asked him about afterlife, of course. Here's what he said. He said, it depends on how he's feeling. In a sense, it doesn't exist unless he narrates it. The narrative does not have to be consistent, so it depends on what kind of story he decides to tell. Yeah, that's everything I got. So any questions? There are a lot of questions that we asked him that were not included in the slides just due to the time constraint, and we have all of these answers written in the good book if you're ever interested in purchasing.
I have a comment.
I have a question.
Someone really wants those extra 5 points.
I was going to say the same thing.
This is so aligned with the glazing language.
Mr. quote-unquote storyism god, I have been expecting my story to be one where I encounter $10 quintillion on the sidewalk.
To clarify, I am not God. I am a...
Can you explain why your god hasn't given me my expected $10 quintillion on the sidewalk?
Sorry. To go more into detail with that, experiences. He is not omnipotent in the same way that you would expect a god to be. He has the potential to know anything, but he does not know everything. He's not everywhere all at once. He's not reading everybody's story all at the same time. He has a limited amount of attention. God is not reading your story all the time. He is not always writing it, per se. He set up the dominoes of it, but your story is unfolding as it will. Sometimes he'll come in and influence things, and he experiences time differently, so he will sometimes go back and retroactively change history or jump forward and just peek at the future. But right now his focus is probably not on your story in particular. So that's up to you to make your story interesting.
Well, I'm trying really hard to find $10 quintillion and I'm not finding it.
Well, I'm very sorry about that. I'll see about contacting God.
Brian, go first.
See if we can get that changed.
Yeah, Max, I want you to go. I think we might have the same question.
I'm looking at the rubric, and I think that half, if not more, of these bullets are unfulfilled. Well, are there any commands, rules, tenets, or sins? No, it's just do whatever. Are there any current practices, traditions, rituals? Your answer is no. Has how to worship? No instructions. Are there
Max, you're gonna love my presentation.
Are there any contradictions or unanswered
this slide answers most of those questions. This is how to live. This is what he said.
No, that's
and the answer is truly, it is up to you. It is your story. Make a good story for yourself. That is how to live. That is
okay. So literally in this, semantics in these bullet points, it doesn't ever say where to live. The closest to that is the third bullet point that says, "Are there any current practices, traditions, rituals?" Fine, I'll give that bullet point to you. But there's nothing of how to worship. There's no contradictions or unanswered questions.
And I was like, I actually did. I did intend to include a bit in here about writing your own stories, creativity being a value. I had written that and then I erased it.
That's still the same bullet point.
I disagree strongly with that.
Well,
I think this answers this.
What are the rules?
Yeah, what are the sin? What are the contradictions? What's the pushback?
Hang on, what specifically are you asking about?
Okay, we're looking at your message where you laid out a
This is yours.
fictional religion and presented. It should explain how humans came to know it.
Done.
Sure.
Are there
any rules, commandments, tenets?
Sins?
No.
Yes. These are the rules, commandments, stuff. Yeah. It is.
These are do whatever the fuck you want. That's not a rule.
It is a rule.
I would give you the
God's rule.
Where's the how to worship?
How to worship? That I will give you that. I forgot to put that.
Where are the contradictions or unanswered questions?
Contradictions or unanswered questions, I think, comes in the spirit.
There's a whole book we can buy. There's no unanswered questions.
He just said
not necessarily. And also listed next to that don't have to clarify / answer directly. Maybe explain what common criticisms or pushback your religion gets.
Okay.
And
I've heard none of those.
This is the biggest pushback: is what? I'm a character in a story?
No. My question was, I'm a little confused about if this story is all already written, or so is it deterministic, or is it okay? Actually, the whole story is not written yet, and you can do whatever you want. and like
So-
you're writing it as things progress.
So I will treat this as a question for the character that I'm playing as the presenter here. The story itself is, to our perspective, it is being written because we live in the present. To God's perspective, he exists outside of our time, but within his own set of time. So imagine, if you will, you yourself are writing a story. From the perspective of the characters in the story, they are experiencing the story unfold in order, right? But to you, you can skip to any page. But you still have time, right? You can erase pages and edit them and do stuff, and over time change your mind about stuff. That's how God works in real life in this presentation, right? God has his own time that he lives within, and he has changed his mind before and gone back and retroactively changed history. He did not tell us exactly what he changed, but he has done that before.
So what you're telling me is, Austin actually did find $5 quintillion in the ground yesterday, and he took that away from him?
He might have, yeah. That's a
Wow!
possibility. If he did that, then there is most certainly a reason that he went back and changed it. I do not expect that he did that, though.
Well, you have no way to prove that he didn't do that, so...
That's true, yeah. That is very true. It's very possible. And you can use that to guide how you want to live your life if you want to.
So I, as a character inside Storyism's religion, have made a story about the god who hates stories, and he kills all story gods. And my story god kills your story god. And that's a story that I wrote. And it's canon. Yeah. You don't have to deal with that now.
So if you think about it like this, how do I even describe that? I suppose that would be fan fiction. That is a form of worship, is writing your own stories. But you did not alter the world, right? It's like if you write a book, you cannot write that a character kills you in real life. Like, that would not actually work. Does that make sense? So you writing that you kill the big, God, capital G, you're still inside of a book to him. So you can't directly influence him like that.
Wow, so it seems like to me that stories in Storyism actually don't mean shit. They're just fake. Like, fake-ass stories that don't mean anything. Because whenever I tried to make a meaningful story, a story about killing God, the storytelling God, didn't work. That means not real. How do you solve that one, Storyist?
I mean, I'll be completely honest, I don't really know how to react to that. I think you're sort of missing the point of it. You exist within a story. That does not make you a god of stories. You are a character in a story.
What if I, as the character in your story, make the god killer who kills gods of stories?
Okay, can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I should not have asked that question. I will take it as a personal failing on my part. You cannot do that. That is not an ability that you as a person have, right? Like, I cannot just decide that I have the strength of 1,000 gods, right? I can't edit my own pages. That's something only God can do.
Well, hold on. It wasn't one of the slides talking about how it's literally my job to make our story? Like, I make my own story, and in my story, I make the god of killing stories.
I'll highlight a very specific point here.
Jose has spoken.
Where is this?
I have a question. Hey, Max, are you recording all of this?
Oh, you
Yes.
know it.
Okay, are you planning on putting it in Google Drive?
He's gonna put it on YouTube.
Austin, can you guys see?
You're
Can you guys see
posting
my
this on
mouse?
YouTube.
Yes.
Good luck, guys.
Bye.
Okay.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
So I am highlighting this part here. Your actions will guide the trajectory of your plot. You are not capable of taking certain actions. You are not.
What?
You act like that's
This
a
is
crazy.
my story!
This is not magic, right? I have not
Max.
revealed a magical ability to you. This is a new perspective of reality. This is me showing you the true nature of your existence. This does not grant you special magic powers over anything. You are still the same person that you were before. You just understand better. That's what this is. You are capable of taking all the actions that a human is capable of taking. And maybe you're better at some things and worse at others. That's what makes characters different. But within the realms of the story that you exist within, you can influence the other characters of the story, like a character.
So wait a second. So if I can interact with any other character, can I interact with the god of storytelling and kill him?
He is not a character. So that is actually a very interesting thing. Yeah, he had to write himself into the story for a very brief amount of time to communicate with us. We're actually not exactly sure how that worked. We're guessing that he just wrote down that we hear, like, these specific people hear this voice in their head that says this. And then he just responded to our words like that. But yeah. I'm not really sure how else that I can describe this. I feel like you are sort of missing the point of it. You are still a normal person, right? And you exist within a story. It is just a new perspective on your life. right? This is not just about like surviving or about getting money or any of these goals. It is about making a good story. That should be the primary goal.
I will say that this is the most Dylan possible presentation. Reiterates every single point about you that I understand, and removes the deterministic aspect of real life. I didn't pre-run the Dylan VM to try and figure out what you were gonna do, but had I,
Yeah.
this is like to a T.
I've been thinking
exactly
this for a
what I
while. This was in the Christianity chat. Whenever I posted that thing of like, hey, I just pretended to be God. I said, hey, ChatGPT, I'm God. Ask me 10 questions. And then I answered them, and I answered them as this story God. And I was like, oh, this is actually a fun system.
Okay, well, that would make sense then. Okay,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and post my answers too.
next presentation.
So
Okay, I'll go. Oh, I didn't totally.
You don't get to grade.
Oh, it's just you?
The
Okay,
other
then,
one.
guy. My bad.
Yeah, I'm independent today.
Thanks for watching. Go ahead and give us ideas on what we should do next.